You want to know, do you want to know why a lot of individuals that tour the whole globe on planet Earth do not talk about or think about touring Louisiana? Because Louisiana is the bottom of the barrel location. Louisiana was founded by colonizer, capitalism, greedy, demonic creatures. That is the reason why you don't see a lot of guys taking boy trips to Louisiana, or women taking girl trips to Louisiana. There's a reason why you don't see Louisiana be in the search bars on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and etc. platforms, because the only time Louisiana was ever brought up was when the New Orleans Saints won a Super Bowl, and that's been so many years ago since the New Orleans Saints won a Super Bowl. That was the only time you ever heard about Louisiana. Like, like let me tell you something. Sacramento, California. Sacramento, California is talked about more than every city in Louisiana combined. The Sacramento Kings could be trash for 50 plus more years, and people will still talk about Sacramento, California, and will rather tour Sacramento, California before touring Louisiana. Like, no city in Louisiana is worth, and I repeat, no city in Louisiana could even match up to the brilliance of Sacramento, California. And that's just one city in California. That's one city in California. And we know how North America is like going in shambles due to capitalism. But let me tell you this. When was the last time you ever heard women talk about, girl, let's go take a girls trip to Monroe, Louisiana, and Sterlington, Louisiana. Let's go have a girls trip and, like, have like a soul tribe woman retreat in Richwood and Sterlington and Monroe, Louisiana. You never hear that. You never hear that at all, because you know why? These women, especially the women who claim Louisiana, even they know that Louisiana is not a place to do girl trips at, because these women know Louisiana is the bottom of the barrel. The places where you see women do girl trips, it will be Tulum, Mexico, Cancun, Mexico, all cities in Jamaica, all cities in Barbados, all cities in Trinidad, all cities in Italy. The list goes on, in places where there is no history of segregation. Any locations where you see a lot of women and men take a lot of boy trips and girl trips, those are the locations where those are not segregated areas. Louisiana is so segregated. Let me tell you this. Let me give you an example. And you could go do your research on all of North America, because this is not just Louisiana. It's all of North America being so segregated. Now, but Louisiana is the worst. For example, in Monroe, Louisiana, you can do your research right now with the internet, and you will see that if you look at the Carroll High School and Wasman High School areas in Monroe, Louisiana, you will never see no Middle Eastern people. You will never see no European, Caucasian people being heavily populated in those areas in Monroe, Louisiana, because Wasman and Carroll High School areas, those are all African and Caribbean population areas. You see what I'm saying? That is segregated. So why would any men that want to do boy trips, or any women that want to do girl trips, want to come to Louisiana, knowing that Louisiana is so segregated? Louisiana is so segregated, especially Monroe. Like, if you look at the ULM area, that's the only area over there where you're going to see like almost every ethnicity of people. But when you get past that college of ULM, if you go into the Carroll and the Wasman High School areas in Monroe, Louisiana, you're no longer going to see these Caucasian girls, no longer going to see these, Middle Eastern girls or Indian nationality girls. You're not going to see no ethnicity of women except for African and Caribbean looking women in the fucking Carroll and Wasman areas. So that is why Louisiana is considered bottom of the barrel. That's why Louisiana is considered bottom of the barrel when it comes to tourist locations. Because the places where women and men take boy trips and girl trips, those areas are not segregated. Jamaica is not segregated. Mexico is not segregated. And you see these flies, these monitoring spirit flies that's trying to fly on me, trying to like ruin my message. They know what they're doing. And every time I'm exposing the truth, they wanna send all these loud sirens to try to get in my way of my message. When I expose a location, like, it's the truth though. It's the facts. When's the last time you seen videos of Monroe, Louisiana, or any city in Louisiana being the top of the search bar when it comes to dating? Never. Let me tell you this. Why is it that when it comes to Louisiana, when an individual rarely brings up Louisiana, they only talk about New Orleans? You notice how they don't talk about the other cities in Louisiana? Why we never hear about Sterlington? Why we never hear about Richwood or Alexandria or what's another place? Monroe, West Monroe, Ruston, Grambling. Why do we not hear about these places on the internet? We only hear about New Orleans, but if you look at Arizona, you will hear about every city in Arizona. You will hear about every city in New York. You will hear about every city in New Jersey, where there might be East Rutherford, New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey, Camden, New Jersey. You will hear about every city in Pennsylvania. You will hear about every city in California. You will hear about every city in Illinois. You will hear about every city in Michigan before you hear about every city in Louisiana. More people post pictures. More people post pictures in Las Vegas, Nevada, than they would post pictures talking about posted up in Monroe, Louisiana. Like, that just shows you how Louisiana is the bottom of the barrel. It has nothing to offer when it comes to dating. None of that. And this is only North America I'm talking about. And like, come on, man. Like, I'm going to tell you this. More people talk about Turkey and Honduras than they talk about Louisiana. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. More individuals, they speak about Honduras and Turkey than they do Louisiana. More people speak about... This is going to make you laugh. More people speak about Bosnia and Serbia than they do Louisiana. Bosnia and Serbia, those are in Europe. More people talk about Romania and Moldova before they ever speak about, doing a girl's trip or a boy's trip in Louisiana. Like, come on. Like, these are all facts, man. So this is how you know Louisiana is the bottom of the barrel. And we're not going to get started on how so much of a robotoid nature that a lot of these women in their 20s and 30s have, and these college women have in Monroe, Louisiana, as one place to describe that place. Like, these women in Monroe, in all cities in Louisiana, they have a robotoid nature about themselves. That's why you will never see guys that been living in like Romania, living in Moldova, Bosnia, Serbia, Turkey, Japan, China, Cambodia, Gambia, Benin, Togo, Nigeria, Ghana, the list goes on. You will never see guys in those locations ever try to go research and try to looking at the way of women in Louisiana, man, because Louisiana's the bottom of the barrel for everything. I'm telling you right now. You can tell right now. You can tell from the way that I dress, the way I style myself, the way I speak. You can tell, like, I don't dig these Louisiana women at all, yo. I don't.